of two friends who fought side by side in Vietnam. Only one came home. Correspondent James McManus has the story of one family's search for the meaning of life, another family's search for the meaning of a death, and how both came to find peace of mind years after the agony of war.
Duc Lop, Vietnam, the winter of 1969. Jim Godwin remembers his best friend, Dutch Snavely.
We'd gotten about 500 rounds of incoming mortars and rockets. He said, you know, I'm not really afraid of dying at all. We were afraid of being forgotten. About 3 o'clock in the morning, we finished our talk, and we stood up and we shook hands, and we said, never forget. And I never have.
Green Beret Captain Donald F. Snavely died at Duc Lop. Sergeant James Godwin came home a shattered survivor.
The real battle was after I came back. It was very difficult. I had a lot of problems adjusting. I'd always blame myself for his death.
For 13 years, Donald Snavely's mother searched for someone who knew how her son had lived and died at Duc Lop.
We did receive a paper saying that he had been killed in the mortar pit, but I wasn't really sure that that's what happened. And as the years went by and I didn't hear from anybody, I presumed that nobody did survive.
But in Willard, Ohio, Jim Godwin had survived, and group therapy among other Vietnam veterans finally convinced him that he must keep his promise.
I knew right then that I had to write that letter. It took me 3 days. It really hurt. I yelled and screamed and cussed and stomped, but I'd say that was, in retrospect, the best 3 days of my adult life, because I not only helped me, I helped this lady who really had been searching.
James Godwin's letter came here to Clarksburg, West Virginia. It was the answer to a mother's prayers.
And now, when I go to sleep at night, I don't wonder about that anymore. I feel peaceful. I feel that I can sort of put that at rest.
After the letter arrived in January, Mrs. Cutlip visited the Godwin family in Willard and invited them to Clarksburg for Memorial Day weekend.
Everything was fine. It's going to be a great weekend. Even the sun stayed out.
Oh, gee.
All right.
Don didn't get to come home alive. And so now, with Jim coming, we're just real excited that his best friend is coming. And we're just going to treat him like family and just we've prepared a homecoming for him.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Country neighbors, friends, and family pitched in for an outdoor pig roast. It was a celebration of life. Sunday, they closed the family circle at church. Earlier, we asked James Godwin and Mrs. Cutlip to read from his letter.
I am writing this letter in loving memory of your son. Dutch and I were comrades, friends, and brothers.
He told me how you had raised his brother and him. He really loved and respected you. He was what you would have wanted him to be.
It's very seldom you hear something nice about a Vietnam veteran, and not that it's so nice about me, it's nice about this warrior, you know, because the war was bad, but the warriors were not.
I had a lot of mixed feelings about Vietnam. And it seems to me that I just could not live with the thought that it was for nothing. Even though our country might consider it a failure, I don't think our young men failed us at all. This wonderful day.
James McManus, CBS News, Clarksburg, West Virginia.
And that's the CBS Evening News for this Memorial Day. Dan Rather reporting tonight from Los Angeles. Thank you for joining us. Good night.